Pull up a chair, traveler. There is fresh stew in the pot, and the fire has just settled into a steady roar. It is a good night for a long tale. When we think of Northrend, we often think of the biting cold of Dragonblight or the jagged ice of the storm peaks. We think of a land that wants to kill us. But there is one place, one corner of this frozen continent, that feels almost like home: the Grizzly Hills. Close your eyes and listen to the wind in the pines. It is a place of rugged beauty. The amber sunlight cuts through the canopy, warming the earth. The rivers run clear and cold, filled with salmon. It feels alive. It feels safe. But safety in Azeroth is often an illusion. Tonight, we are going to spend some time here. We will not rush. We will peel back the layers of this forest. Because beneath this breathtaking beauty lies a history of hubris, madness, and a curse that refuses to die. We are going to speak of the ancient trolls who first claimed these hills. We will speak of the Druids who tried to force paradise to grow where it was not meant to. And we will speak of the shadow that sleeps beneath our feet, turning good men into beasts. Settle in, friends. This is the Chronicle of the Grizzly Hills. To understand the tragedy of this place, we must go back, before the Alliance, before the Horde, before even the High Elves set foot on these shores. Look at the stones scattered across the northern ridges. Do you see the ruins? Long ago, this land was a battleground. The Titans, the shapers of our world, left their children here. The Iron Dwarves and the Giants, you can still see their works in the north, at Thor Modan. They carved the mountains, shaping the spine of the world. But they were not alone. The Drakari trolls, fierce and desperate, built their empire just to the north. For centuries, these hills were not a peaceful forest, but a borderland, a place of blood and iron. The trolls knew something about this land that others did not. They knew the soil was rich, but they also knew it was hungry. The Drakari never settled deep in the heart of the woods. Have you ever wondered why? A troll empire that spans for miles, yet they left the center of the Grizzly Hills largely untouched. Perhaps they heard the whispers first. Perhaps they knew that some soil is best left undisturbed. Thousands of years passed. The wars of the ancients faded. And then came the Druids, the ancients of the Stag. They were good people. They looked at the frozen wastes of Northrend, and their hearts broke for it. They saw a land of ice and death, and they wanted to bring it life. They had a vision, a dream. They believed they could plant a new world tree. Think of Vordrassil, the great tree on Mount Hyjal. It is a beacon of hope, blessed by the dragon aspects. It grants immortality and health. The Druids of the Stag believed they could replicate that miracle here in the Grizzly Hills. They named it Vordrassil, the broken crown. But in their haste, in their arrogance, they made a fatal mistake. They did not wait for the blessing of the aspects. They did not ask Nosdormu for his timeless wisdom, or Alexstrasza for her life-giving fire. They believed that nature alone was enough. They believed they could force paradise to grow. They planted the seed, and Vordrassil grew. Oh, how it grew. It must have been a sight to behold in those early days, a canopy that scraped the clouds, shading the entire region. The forest flourished around it. The Furbolgs, the bear men of the north, built their homes in its shadow, worshipping the tree as a god. For a moment, just a brief moment, there was paradise. But trees have roots, and roots must drink. While the branches of Vordrassil touched the heavens, its roots dug deep into the cold, dark earth of Northrend, deeper than anyone anticipated. They dug until they hit something hard, something ancient, something evil. The roots of Vordrassil pierced the prison of Yogg-Saron, the old god, the beast with 1,000 maws, the god of death. Imagine the horror. The tree, intended to be a source of life, became a straw for the old god's corruption. The madness traveled up the roots, poisoning the sap. It didn't happen overnight. It was a slow, creeping rot. The Furbolgs were the first to change. The Red Fang and the Frostpaw tribes. They had lived in peace for generations, but as they drank the water and slept beneath the boughs, they became savage. They turned on one another. Their eyes ceased to look like the eyes of thinking creatures and started to burn with a mindless rage. Even the great bear spirit, Ursine, was not spared. The mighty guardian of the forest, who had watched over this land since the dawn of time, was twisted by the corruption. The Druids of the Stag looked upon their creation and realized what they had done. They had not built a sanctuary. They had built an antenna for the old gods. The Druids destroyed the tree. They shattered Vordrassil to sever the connection. That is why only a stump remains today. But you cannot kill a shadow by breaking the object that casts it. The corruption had already seeped into the soil. And this brings us to the present day, to the trappers and woodsmen who call this place home. Have you visited the villages of Silverbrook or Solstice? They seem charming, do they not? Warm fires, sturdy log cabins, hardy people living off the land. But look closer. There is a new shadow in the hills. The Archmage Arugel, a man once loyal to Gilneas, a man who dabbled in forbidden magic, was brought here by the Lich King. He brought with him the curse of the Worgen. The people of Grizzly Hills, desperate to survive the harsh wilderness, turned to Arugel's gift. They embraced the wolf. Now, neighbors hunt neighbors under the light of the moon. The wolf cult thrives here, hiding in plain sight. They are not mindless monsters like the undead. They are organized. They are intelligent. And they are waiting. It is a tragedy upon a tragedy. First the trolls, then the tree, and now the wolf. It seems this land demands a price from anyone who tries to tame it. And yet, despite all of this, look around you. The sun still sets in a blaze of gold. The music of the fiddle still plays in the lodges. The grizzlies still catch salmon in the river. The Grizzly Hills is a paradox. It is the most beautiful place in Northrend, and perhaps the most broken. It reminds us that nature is not always kind, and good intentions are not always enough. We come here for the beauty. We stay for the mystery, and we leave, if we are lucky, before the moon rises. Thank you for sitting with me tonight, travelers. The fire is burning low, and the hour grows late. Finish your ale, check your weapons, and remember, in these woods, not everything that walks on two legs is a friend.